Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm excited about what I just got in the mail today. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Getting ready for snowboarding season this year. I purchased something that I've wanted for a long time. I started seeing this a couple of years ago being advertised, and it's actually kind of a device that I've wanted for maybe decades for snowboarding. And it just didn't really exist. There was a couple of iterations of other companies that tried some things that were similar. And I finally pulled the trigger and I purchased this in September. And then it took a couple of months for it to get here. I think this is kind of a smaller company. And so I think the delays were due to, them just getting their current version out. And this is the Black-Line Quicksett adapter for snowboarding. And this actually, I just opened up the FedEx box. It came with the main package. It came with a ring adapter, and then it came with this step-on adapter. So first we're gonna do is we're gonna open this up. We're gonna do a little unboxing here. I wanna see what these are, see how the device actually works. And then I'm gonna talk about why I want this, why I think this is great for snowboarding. And then we're going to do the installation. So we'll take it out to the garage and we'll install it onto the snowboard. I'm not going to do the full review of this yet because there's no snow yet. It's December 1st, and here in the Pacific Northwest, we still don't have quite enough snow for the resorts to open. So we'll be doing that soon though. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, I'll also have a follow-up of a review of this once I've had a chance to actually use it on the slopes. So let's step right into the unboxing. Like I was talking, when I opened up the package from FedEx, there was these three objects in here. Again, I'm using step-on bindings, so I think that this ring adapter and this package here are specific for the step-on bindings, but we'll figure it out once we read the instructions. So first, let's open up the main package here because the rest of these guys seem pretty self-explanatory. This is pretty nice packaging. I was kind of assuming that these guys were a relatively small brand. I think they are. I definitely know they're out of France. This was shipped from France, but this is a pretty nice. Wow, this is a nice package. So sticker, some instructions here, online instructions, mounting bolts, and a zip tie. I assume that's part of the instructions. Cool little box. So this is kind of like magnets together. So it's actually, it all magnets together. So a little magnet on the box here, opens up, and the box kind of like expands out like this. So I think, this probably folds flat. Wow, this is a nice little box. Very quality shipping box, and the item itself is this is a pretty heavy canvas bag. Feels like some canvas. I think this is actually canvas. And then this is the device itself. So what goes on here? Let's just talk about this real quick. This allows you to pivot your front foot. So this is a little release lever. Oh, I see how that works. And so you push this down and it releases, and this will allow it to spin inside of the ring, and then when I push this down, it'll snap back in place. So this seems pretty cool. It feels pretty solid, pretty well made. This is my first time actually really getting to see how this works, because I really didn't show it in any of their examples. So you see when you push this in, these little teeth here pull in when you push them back out. And then they must set into, the inner ring here. The ring here has some little teeth on here on the inside. So you mount it here, and then you can set it there. Seems like it should work pretty good. These teeth feel like they push in, but I think they'll lock in. I think they should lock in pretty tightly. So this seems cool. And then this just runs out and will mount onto the back of your high back. And then I'm not quite sure how this works, but we'll go through the instructions real quick, and then we'll get started on the installation. By the way, a couple quick caveats as we get started here. I may say Quickstep as I'm talking about this product throughout the video. The product is the Quicksett by Black-Line. I think as I was recording a bit already, I may have mispronounced that. All right, so it is Quicksett, not Quickstep. So if I, throughout the video, I say the wrong thing, I'm addressing that now. Second, while I ordered this in September and it took until December 1st to get it. I think that's because they were making their 2.0 product and it was literally being manufactured and they were putting it together. The original delivery date had said October, and I actually reached out to them in October or at the end of October when it hadn't arrived yet, and they responded pretty quickly. And if I look on their website now, they are, as I was going through the instructions, they're saying it is, 5 to 10 days or a similar time frame to get it shipped, and they do ship internationally. And honestly, the price for this, I think I paid around 150 bucks. I'll look it up. I'll put it right here. With international shipping and the whole tariff situation and everything else, honestly, this felt like a pretty good deal to me. Going through this unboxing real quickly, it seems like a pretty quality product. As I was looking online before I bought this, there were several Reddit posts that I saw that were like, is this a scam? And actually a couple of the answers and people who said, I got my product, and this was last year, was sort of what made me go like, all right, this isn't a scam, this is a legitimate company. This definitely is a legitimate company. So if you're watching this, if you came here for the same reasons as I did, you saw some social media or targeted ads and you're like, is this a legit thing? It's definitely legit. This feels, everything I can tell up till now, feels very well made. We'll go through the installation here and then like I said, we'll do an actual review on the snow. But everything seems very well done. I like their packaging. Everything is very well organized. They've got a good instructions video for all sorts of different bindings. So they cover regular bindings and they cover various step-ons, the Nidecker, Clue. And so I think it seems like they're pretty well thought out. They also have a compatibility list. So if you are purchasing this for your bindings and you're wondering like, hey, will it work with my bindings? Go to their website, check out the compatibility list. They do have, like what I showed on the initial order form there, when I was initially unboxing this, I showed this ring. This is the part that is compatible with your binding. So there's different rings depending on which binding you have. And so you'll have to specify that when you place your order. But that's about it. So now we'll go in and work on let's talk a little bit about why I think this is a good thing, why I'm excited to try this. All right, for the non-snowboarders out there, I thought I'd do a quick demo to explain some of the issues that happen with snowboarding where your foot's locked in and it gets a little uncomfortable in navigating around. So I put down this outdoor carpet that I had rolled up in the garage, and it turned out it was full of rat poop, which I've cleaned all off. But if I don't check in for a while, it's probably because I got hantavirus or something. So here's what we got. When you're stepped in, it's fine. I mean, this is the way you stand on the snowboard like 90% of the time. Your other foot's back here. You can do snowboard stuff. It's all good. But when you're trying to move around, you end up having to kick like this. And this foot is turned at a 90-degree angle, and it's pretty uncomfortable. And so when you're in the lifts, you kind of end up doing this sort of thing to scoot around all over the place. It's not great. It's uncomfortable. If I could turn my foot 90 degrees, it would be more comfortable. It would be quite a bit more comfortable. The other thing that happens is, and we're going to use the truck as a chairlift simulator here. You've got the snowboard hanging off your foot like this, and you've got people on either side of you, oftentimes skiers whose skis are pointed straight ahead, and your snowboard's kicked this way. Usually I'll put my snowboard up on my other foot like this. That relieves a lot of the pressure off of this knee. But after a whole day, you know, having the snowboard hanging off this knee, and not just hanging and twisted this way. So not only are you having, you know, 10 or 15 pounds hanging off your leg. I don't actually know how much this weighs. We should weigh it and find out. It's turned at an awkward angle, especially if you're on a crowded chairlift. You tend to have it turned and twisted the entire time, and it gets uncomfortable after the day. Well, I'm sitting up here for 20, 30 seconds for this video. It's not uncomfortable at all. You sit up here and you go like, oh yeah, I could sit here like this all day. But when you're on a snowboard for 10 or when you're on a ski lift for 10 or 15 minutes, it can get pretty uncomfortable. And over the course of the day, as your legs are getting tired, it really tires out this knee having it here. And so having the ability to have this twisted, it would make things quite a bit more comfortable. Also, one of the things I'm not sure about is what this means for getting off the lift. Usually when you get off the lift, you turn it flat like this and then you ride off this way. I'm not sure if this means I'll be able to just get off and kind of skate off as if I was on a skateboard. I think so. That might take a little bit of trial and error, but we'll see when we actually get it tested out. All right, so we're here in our mostly remodeled garage. There's still a little bit of work to do, but I got my snowboard set up here on the sawhorses, and I've got my Quicksett. This is Quicksett Origin 2. And we're ready to install it. So we will be installing it on this binding, this is my front binding. Now there's a couple little changes I'm going to make to their instructions because I've already modified my step-ins to have the release on the inside. That means I'm going to have to mount the release cable for the Quicksett on this side here, I believe, because I think I was looking through the instructions. They've got a little guy that mounts right here onto this screw on the high back, so we'll replace that. But let's change the view. We're going to look at how the bindings go together and how the Quicksett works with that. Okay, so the first thing we'll have to do is remove the little foam cover here. Let's just leave it in here for now. We'll just fold it back like this. And you can see here's my base plate. So we'll just take these 4 screws out. So this plate is functionally what the Quickstep is replacing. All right, so we have the Quicksett device, the core. I don't know what we call this. We're going to call, this is the core of the device. This is the ring. This is my original ring, and then they also sent us some new screws, which we'll be using for the installation, as well as this screw, which is going to be used to mount the control lever. Okay, so the first step, and this is a little bit tricky, but on this ring, there's some markings, and so you have your typical markings of what angle you've got your binding set at, but there's also a G and an R, and those stand for whether or not you are goofy or regular. I am regular, so I'm going to look on here for the R, and I'm going to put the little arrow here aligned with that R. Okay, so with the mechanism set up so that the arrow points to the R, this will let me twist my foot 45 degrees this way, straightening my foot out. And when it comes back to here, there's a stop, so it'll lock it back into place. So with this set here, I'm going to put the set lever, and this sort of locks it in place to make this all work as I install it now. Line my binding back up to about where I had it. I'm not super fussy about my foot angles. I will say one thing on this I'm just thinking about. I like to have my foot set back to make sure that I don't have toe drag. This doesn't really give me much option for that adjustment, but I think we're okay with that. We'll be fine. That Burton uses. Should be able to just set this in here. That's that. Let's see how tight this is. They gave some instructions on setting the tension on this, how tight you want the screws to be set so that it can still move. Oh, I can totally still move it. That absolutely works. I'm gonna go a little tighter actually. Anything you're tightening up like this, you want to do in a star pattern just to ensure that things aren't binding up weird. Let's see, I can maybe even get it tighter. I think this is about as tight as it's gonna get. That's nice. So between this being fairly tight as well as the Loctite, I'm not really worried about these screws coming loose, but as always, you should always check these regularly anytime you go snowboarding. You know, before you go out each time, just make sure that things are locked in correctly. So this still spins nicely. I can lock it at this point. Now it locks in, and I can re-release it and spin it back out. All right. So the next step will be mounting this onto here, which we're just going to remove this screw here. I don't know if you can quite see it. Let's spin the board a little bit further. There's a screw right here that holds the high back in place. We're going to remove that, and we're going to mount this right here. And that'll allow us to pull this down to release it and pop it out right like that. And this is their little adapter for the mount right here. I'm not quite sure how this works yet. Okay, so we keep the original backing plate here, and we're going to screw their adapter in through here. Which would have been easier to have just kept this back piece in place, but now we know. This is the one place in here where you are going to need something other than a screwdriver. This is a 7mm bolt that they have on here. So I'm just tightening that up. And we can arrange this kind of the way we want on it. Oh, and I guess you could use this as your wrench also if you wanted to. I think I'm gonna want it facing up like this a little bit more. The way I can reach down, pop it off. Okay, I think that'll work. We will use another 7mm right there. You know, we're gonna have to put the socket on here to spin this tight. Let's tighten this guy up now. Nice and tight. All right. So here's the way this mechanism works. If I push down on this, that opens it and will allow me to spin the binding. When I press this lever right here, it'll lock it back in place. And now we're back into snowboard mode. And this also, I think, should allow me to do just a fine adjustment. So if I wanted to, say, do a run with my foot just a few degrees more, I can do that. And I could ride like this. But I'm going to lock it all the way up, and we can go full skate mode, just like a skateboard where you put your foot forward where you're kicking, and we should be able to ride just like this. And then when we're ready to go, realign my foot back, push that button, and we're locked in. So I think this will work really well. Let's go back outside on the carpet and test it out. Oh, we should be good. Let's give it a quick trial. Let's just go from pretending we're starting from scratch. So we're in the board. So let's release our back foot. Release this. I might switch where I put these because that is a far reach for me. But it spins. Oh, ow, ow, ow. So this is nice, just being able to be like this. So I feel like I could walk around, get on the lift a lot easier, and then we're locked back right in place again. Ooh, that's gonna be dope. But man, I wish I could have it back on the inside. Okay, hang on. Let me retract a little bit what I just said. It turns out the quick step release mechanism Actually has just enough room to fit under the step-on release mechanism. So I can actually put it all on the inside and be good. So I can reach on the inside, release this guy in and out. Oh, didn't really step in very good. And I can release the Quicksett. This would be weird. This would be, you know what? I might do some alpine style and ride like that. I think, man, that works really well actually, right there, because I can reach it on the inside. You just push it down and it releases exactly where I want it. Okay, I'm even more impressed now. I think these Quicksett guys really figured this out. Pretty good job of engineering as far as I can tell so far. The other thing I will say, as I was just going back through the screws, the box, again, I kind of talked about the box and the packaging that they wrap this up in being very nice. All the little screw baggies are Ziploc, so when you take your old parts off, you can put them back in the baggie, Ziploc them up, and you don't have to worry about losing your screws. So if you want to revert this, you want things put things back. If you want to keep this and you're selling your snowboard or something, it makes it really easy to keep your screws. And that little magnetic box is really nice to hold your old snowboard plate. So it actually feels like having that nice level of packaging for this particularly, just because you may reuse those parts, it's actually just a nice little extra bonus. And so I actually think they did a really good job on this one. So far I'm impressed. Review will be coming very soon. We'll see how this goes.